I want you to know that I hurt for you, when I say this stuff. We joke around, we laugh, and we try to keep it light. I recognize how painful it is to have a child who's Mechalel Shabbos, or in your case, Mechalel Shabbat. Shabbat. It's painful. It's very painful. And I'm not on the side of Chilul Shabbos. And I'm saying this for a reason. Because today I got a call from parents, and they want to come here. The problem is that their Rav is not so happy with Avi, because Avi is pro-sin. That's pro-sin. I'm pro-sin. I like sin. They think that you come here, and right away I give you a subscription to McDonald's, and right away we get all the Averis to happen in your house without any Havana that we're doing things carefully, and that we're doing things for a reason, and that you have major Das Torah that's agreeing. And I told her, I said, tell your Rav the following Rabbanim that allowed this specific sin that he was referring to. And I gave him a list of Rabbanim. We're not the first. And I don't tell people what to do. I give advice for your child, and your Rav signs off on it if he feels it's necessary. And I said, by the way, tell your Rav, you think the Belzer Rebbe and the Novominsker Rebbe and Shmuel Kamenetsky and all these names, right? You think they are pro-sin also? You think that they would support somebody, openly, if that was the agenda? Hello? People are missing the point. So it is painful that your child is in that situation. So when I tell you what I'm going to tell you, it's not that I don't feel your pain. I really, truly believe that the only way back for someone who is Mechalel Shabbos is by having nafshay kshura b'nafshay, a real tight bond, right? As the Balaturum says, mipnei she'ivaltei kshura b'libai, because the foolishness is bound to the heart of the lad. Tzarech shetehei, you must have nafshay shel aviv kshura b'nafshay in order to save, in order to be mechanachim. It's because of the dysfunction they need even more love, and the love flows through a respirator, through a connection, and if the connection is low, then the medicine is low, and if the connection is high, then the medicine is high. To me, it's a very pashut thing, that you don't accomplish saving the child through disconnection. Now, if you agree with that, which person are you closer to? The person that you are the way that you are, and they see the way that you are, and they say, I like you, and they understand who you are, or the person that you dress up for and hide who you really are, and that person says, I really like spending time with you. It's not even a shaila. The person who likes spending time with you, but you know that you put on a yarmulke, or you put on tznius, or you hide your bad parts of who you really are at that time, that's a fake relationship. And a person who you are, this is why right now I'm not religious, and they like you at that moment the same, right? They show you that I accept that you're not religious, and I'm not depriving you of the relationship, of the vitamins that come from parent to child. I'm not holding it back from you because you're not like us. That's a real relationship. A real relationship allows for a much deeper connection. A deeper connection allows for the flow of the health into the child on a much, much deeper level. And because the Baal Shem Tov said that the medicine, and the Chazon Ish said that the medicine for spiritual problems is love, and we see that that's the same medicine for emotional problems and psychiatric problems and psychological problems. It's all the same medicine. So regardless of what your agenda is, whether you want to save their spiritual ruchnius, or whether you want to save them from cutting themselves or hurting themselves, being suicidal, putting themselves in danger, hanging out with strangers, all of that, whatever your agenda is, it's the same thing. Because a child who feels unloved by my mommy and my daddy, unliked, is automatically in a deeper level of danger. Correct? So now we have a problem. The problem is that the they that they are, is a Mechalel Shabbos. And you are not Mechalel Shabbos. That's part of the problem. How are these two supposed to bond? So the answer is, and it's very painful, it's very difficult, but the answer is very simple. You have to have a real relationship. So whereas most people would say, like, better if you don't know, it's not so important, in her situation, okay, and every situation is different. In her situation, when she's in danger and doing dangerous things, you can't afford to have distance between you. You're not accomplishing anything with that distance. You're not accomplishing anything. So it's not that it's not painful. The pain is not the tipul, the treatment, the medicine. You know, people nebuch, when they have a kid with nebuch, Rahman al the kid has cancer, you have to give chemo. That's very painful to give a child poison. But when you know what cancer is, the chemo is not the problem. Over here also, the pain that you have is that your child is right now in a matzav of pikuach nefesh and chil Shabbos. That's the pain. The medicine is remove the walls. So now that you're in that situation, so you have two choices. You ignore it. She knows that my relationship with my parents, they don't really know who I am. I have to be respectful of them. This respectful business is only good once you do this and then they want to be respectful. That's wonderful. But before you do this, and they're doing it because they just don't want to go through it, it's separation. Separation. So, yes, I 100% advise you. Of course, you could ask your Rav, but there's no halacha issue here. What? No, you'll find a way in passing or something. You say, sweetie pie, listen, it's so nice of you that you didn't want to with the car and break Shabbos in front of us, but me and Dad, we love you. We love you. But think about it for a second. In order for children, in order for people to grow healthy, imagine they need a vitamin. So you're going to say, because you're not from, I'm not giving you a vitamin. So they're going to be a midget their whole life. You have to be her parents, not somebody else's parents. She's going to say, I know al hanara hazel lo hispalalti. And you're going to say, no, everyone is different. Your relationship between you and Hashem is between you and Hashem. In other words, your parents, you have a job to do as parents, a chiyuv to do as parents. And that's unfortunately, even if they're not spiritually the way that you want them to be, you still can't afford to give up your job because they're never going to be normal. She's home because of you. Otherwise, she'll be homeless. She's homeless, you lose 10 years. You get, drugs is more, everything is worse. More sin, more everything. So the people who say, keep your kid home and have a real relationship, it's not because we're pro-sin. It's less sin. That was what Ramesh Hillel Hirsch said. There's no problem of lifnei iver to buy treif. That's what he said. Why? Because lifnei iver is fooling you. I'm not fooling you. You know it's treif, you want treif. And that problem is sayaya and lifnei iver is only because it creates more sin. Said over here, it creates less sin. So there's a shaila in Metzius. People, if they paskin, they have to really come down and meet all the parents and see all the parents that did this, that were matzliach, and the kids are healthy and alive, right? Not suicidal, not homeless, not on drugs. They have to do research in order to decide this thing. And they should do research. And they're all invited. Rabbanim are always invited to come down here, look around. Look around, and that's why they change, a lot of them change their psak, because they see the metzius changed. Because 30 years ago, you could say, in my house, you don't dress natznius. Nobody died. How many times did we hear growing up of overdoses and of suicides? Right? Today, in our dar, people are dying. You have to be careful. So that changes how we view pikuach nefesh. So you're in a pikuach nefesh situation, besides for this, right? Dangerous. And you have a Rav who understands that. And now the shaila is, and this is the only room in the world that this question gets asked. It's the only room. Oh, I caught my daughter being Machal Shabbos, right? What does everyone else say? Close the Wi-Fi, throw her out of the house, threaten her, dinner. And it's like, maybe this is an opportunity to increase my nafshei kshura b'nafshei by telling her, Shefala, sweetie, I know what you're doing, and please, you don't have to hide from me. So the question is, what gives her a better chance to be alive, off drugs, healthy, and from? Hiding and sneaking, or being open? This is who I am. You carry her through the dark years. Bezrat Hashem, when she gets healthy, of course she's going to want to be like the family. You're always going to get the best of things. So push it.